Chapter 1. In Bother Again. If Polly May pulls my cat's tail again or so much as glances in his direction, I will report her to the SSPCA. What a naughty wee lassie she is, Mrs. Donkin whined. She should be locked up in a cage with a big padlock on it and fed bread and water for a week. If she had a way, she would bring the stockades back, or even hanging. Polly May could just see it now. Hundreds of kids strung up along the lamp-posts, with her prodding them with her broom. She was the neighbourhood's answer to the Wicked Witch of the West, and she lived up to her reputation. And here she is, at it again, thought Polly May. Poor old Polly May. She was always getting into bother. She couldn't understand why. She'd only pulled that silly old cat's tail because it wouldn't come down from the tree. She hadn't even pulled it hard, as that would have been cruel. It just so happened that the cat had been in the tree she wanted to climb, so the cat had to go. It was as simple as that. But Mrs. Donkin from next door, the real neighbour from hell, was always trying to get Polly May into trouble. Some of the kids thought she was a demon from outer space, sent to Earth to destroy all the fun of 11-year-olds around the world. And I bet she even has a university degree in complaining, Polly May thought. She was waving her arms in the air like a loony and looked like she would take off any minute. Polly May sat on her bed, to which her mum had banished her until tea time, watching out of the window. She watched and smiled. Mrs. Donkin was still waving her arms around like a lolloping giant octopus. Her grey hair gently blowing in the window was caused by the air coming from her mouth. That made Polly May smile to herself. She wondered what she could do to keep herself busy. Being in her room was not the thing she wanted to do best in the world right now. She listened to her CDs and began to imitate Kylie, using her hairbrush as a microphone. But even that got boring after a while. She walked over to the bedroom window and looked out. What a waste of a beautiful warm day, she sighed. If only I could get out. She sat down again on the bed and thought for a while. Ha! I know. I can climb out of the window, she said, suddenly excited and almost fell off her bed. Polly May checked to see if her mum was still talking to Mrs. Donkin by opening the door a smidgen. Yes. Just as she suspected. They were still talking. Blimey, they can gab, Polly May thought. She went over to her bedroom window and cleared the things from the windowsill, taking great care when moving her porcelain doll her Nana had bought her for Christmas 2 years ago, and her blue piggy bank from Spain, a gift from her Uncle Hamish, was put in a safe place on her dressing table. She opened the window as quietly as she could so no one would hear. She cocked her leg over the windowsill and slid out of the bedroom. She gripped the window ledge, wound her legs round the drainpipe and slid down very slowly. The window wasn't very high at all, which made things a lot easier. "Move, you daft moggy," she said. "Can't you see I'm trying to slide down the drainpipe and you're in my way again?" Polly May almost shouted through gritted teeth. The cat scampered away when he saw Polly May, and hissed at her when he was at a safe distance. Polly May jumped the last metre or so and ran off in a crouched position with her head as low as possible so as not to be seen. She darted behind a hedge when she saw Mrs. Pottle come out of her gate and walk towards her mum's house. Now she knew she was safe, because Mrs. Pottle was the town gossip, even worse than Mrs. Donkin, and could talk for hours without breathing, or so all her school friends said. After Mrs. Pottle had disappeared into her mum's house, Polly May ran towards the beach. It was really great living near the sea, because you could always find super places to hide from your mum and dad, or whoever happened to be mad at you at the time. Port Soy had a great beach with lots of hiding places. Several streets led to the beach, so it made for many quick and easy escapes. Her mum and dad would sometimes take her to Banff or Cullen beaches, which was great fun, and they would get a fish supper on the way home. Port Soy Harbour was full of holidaymakers that flocked to the fishing village every year, especially when the annual boat festival was on. There were loads of people there, so she could blend in quite easily.